Hello, everyone. Welcome to BusiAid. I'm Sharon,
I'm Tanvi.
and we're here with Emily, and she's here to talk with us today. So, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Emily, and I'm entering my third year of university at Wilfrid Laurier. My major is business administration, and my minor is user experience design. So, at as a professional, I am pursuing a career in marketing right now. And then previously, my experiences include being a social media manager at a startup called VT Cups. And I recently just wrapped up my 8-month internship at Keurig Dr. Pepper under the McCafe team too. But as a person before a professional, I also really enjoy fitness. So I love going to the gym, and I also really like drink making. So cocktails, mocktails, coffee, and tea are all drinks I enjoy making in my free time.
That sounds great. So I know you're in your third year of university, so how's it going? Do you have any standout moments from this semester?
Yes. So not necessarily from this semester, but like my key highlight moment of every year is probably at the end of January. As a member of the school's case team, I compete in a really big competition with all undergrad or all the undergrad schools across Ontario and Quebec. So it's just a really great conference every single year for me to be competing alongside my teammates that I've been training for the past 6 months. So it's a great opportunity to be meeting new people, to celebrate your accomplishments, and really be putting your best self out there. So that is my biggest highlight of my undergrad.
Hmm. So, what is the BBA program like at specifically Laurier?
Yeah. So in terms of like the program structure or like vibes?
Both, sure.
Both. Okay. Structure-wise first, the BBA program is general for the first 3 years. So you're studying general courses such as marketing, finance, HR, organizational behavior. And in your last year, you're going to be specializing in whatever you choose. So things such as sustainability, HR, finance or marketing, or if you want to do CPA or accounting, then you specialize a little bit earlier. So it's general first and then specified later. Vibes wise, I think this is the most important thing when considering university. It's generally a very, very great community. Everyone is super uplifting, and there's a very large mentorship culture here. So ever since my first year, I've been able to find a lot of upper year mentors to guide me through just the journey of university and also through like other professional aspects too. Now that I'm older, I'm able to give back to the younger students and provide them that same service. So it's a really great uplifting atmosphere.
We know you're also minoring in user experience. Can you explain what that is and why you chose it as alongside your BBA?
Yeah, so user experience design, I'll leave it up to Google to give you the real definition. But to me, the best way to explain it is anytime you open an application, whether it be on a website or on your phone or anywhere, it's everything that you can see visually. So that can be the design of it, the placement of each aspect, how intuitive it is, and all the research that went into creating it. So why I chose to have this as my minor against all other options are as a person who's specializing in marketing, I think it's very important for you to always have that user-centric mindset and have the consumer at the core of all your thinking and planning. So having a minor in user experience is really favored by employers, but also is really great to have as a professional. So you never lose sight of that, so that you're always producing value at the end of the day. And I know that my peers in marketing, a lot of them have this minor, but in other professions too, it's really great to always have that end user in mind.
So, how do you manage your time, especially considering your workload and your social life aspect?
Yeah, so in terms of school items, I use Notion primarily for classes to take notes on, to manage all my different activities. Every week I have like a weekly to-do list that I update as well. So I'm making sure that I can see the order and priority of items I need to get done every day. And these are things that I rotate every single week. And then on the other side, I also use Google Calendar alongside Notion. So for this, I use this to time block. So make sure I have all my classes in order, making sure I'm not having conflict with any meetings or meetups with friends. So with that, I'm able to keep a good work-life balance. So I can see exactly what time I'm putting towards school, towards work, extracurriculars, and social life too.
All right. Do you have any resources that especially helped you along your university path that you would recommend to other people?
Yeah. So I think the main thing that external research that I've used other than Notion and Google Calendar for like time management, probably listening to podcasts. So just on Spotify or Apple Music, whatever you may choose. I think that listening to business podcasts outside of the classroom has really given me a greater understanding of what businesses actually look like in the modern day and keep up with daily news as well. So my favorite ones are probably, I'm blanking on the name. Probably The Economist, I think it is. New York Times is a great one.
So, do you remember any major decisions that you made in high school that especially helped with your university experience?
Yeah, so I can break it down into like courses I took versus extracurriculars that I did as well. So in terms of courses that I took, the best ones are probably grade 10 business, which really helped me establish like my general understanding of business as a function in society and really helped me establish my love for it too. I love the projects that we did. It really gave me an understanding of why business is important and why I like it as well. And then I highly, highly recommend anybody considering business as a possibility in their career or anything, take accounting and econ in both grade 11 and 12. It does you a lot of benefit to come into university with that fundamental understanding because in university, a lot of professors just expect you to come in with that knowledge. I can visually see a large gap in averages between people who have taken it before and who haven't. So highly, highly recommend. And in terms of extracurriculars, I think DECA obviously was one of the biggest and best choices that I made for myself because it allowed me to use or like view business as kind of a playground for myself to do what I want, achieve what I want, and put what I want into it. So with that, I was really able to fall in love with case competitions, which is obviously a large part of my life right now. So in terms of taking courses and doing extracurriculars, these are my top recommendations.
Would you say like Laurier is a bit case school in comparison to like other schools? Like I know like a lot of
Yes.
schools teach the cases.
I think I explained this for those of you who are not at MD's DECA session. Business schools are often split into two different types. So there's case-based schools and theory-based schools. Case-based schools are Laurier, Western Ivy, I think DeGroote and Queens, I think too. So how they teach is through a lot of applied ways. So in classes, you're not just learning theories and like history and stuff like that. You're applying it within a case. So much like you see in the competitions at DECA versus other schools will focus more on the theory and teaching you at like a very detailed level. So you have a very like strong understanding of all these different concepts. And depending on your learning style and what you like to do, I think it's very wise to do some research into that first before you decide on your program because it does make a big difference in how you learn and the career that you go into as well.
All right. Did you have any surprises that you encountered during university, and how would you recommend future students deal with them?
Yeah, so I have a pretty big advantage going to university because I have an older sibling. So I kind of had a big, like a greater understanding of the leap that high school and university has. So I knew that obviously you have a lot more responsibilities now that you're taking care for those moving out. You have to take care of your own food and living now. You also have to do a lot more like work for school than you did originally. So with that greater understanding, there weren't a lot of surprises within like my general life. I think the biggest one probably is within a social aspect. So understanding that in elementary school and high school, the people you grew up with are, or the people you see in class are very similar to you. They have similar values, similar upbringings. There's not a lot of discord between you, but in university, people are coming from all over, not only the country, but the world. So they have a lot of different life experiences that may conflict with yours or maybe a little bit different for you guys to see eye to eye. So it was surprising at first, but I came to really like that aspect of like socializing within university too.
Hmm. So, did you have any regrets during your university experience that you would urge high school students to avoid?
Mhm. I don't think I had any like large regrets that I would be taking back. And if anything, I think I tried everything I wanted to try. So I definitely would
Yeah.
never take any of those experiences back because they played like whether it be positive or negative, it played a very big impact on me. I think one thing that I would caution against is the belief that you have to prioritize school over social life or social life over school. So I think everyone has been very familiar with that meme of the triangle of you can either have sleep, a good social life, or good academics, and you can only choose one of the three or two of
Yeah.
the three at once. I think my biggest regret is in first year I held this like almost as like a golden standard in my head that I could only have two and I have to choose these two very wisely. But you don't have to live your life with such a constricting belief. If anything, I learned over the course of time that not only should there be these three, but you should add a fourth node of like your personal enjoyment and your personal time too. So like time to indulge in yourself and your own activities. And it's yes, maybe you can only have the time to prioritize like three out of the four at a time, but these three out of four don't have to be stagnant throughout your entire life or the entire school year. There will be months where you have to prioritize school and sleep more than ever, but there's also more times that you should indulge in your own personal life and your social life as well too. So understanding that you can rotate through all of these and not just lock yourself in was probably my biggest regret in not realizing earlier.
Yeah, I think that's like really valuable, even though now during high school, it's definitely like applicable to like someone's like entire life. Can you
Mhm.
describe your experience through the application process that led you to enroll at Laurier?
Yeah, so just getting deeper on the question, like what do you mean like kind of my mindset in application or
But yeah.
so like I guess kind of why I chose Laurier is how I'm gonna interpret the question and like how I feel about it now. I think I I entered university in 2021, so it's like right post COVID. So Laurier was like the only school I toured in person, which probably had a little bit of cognitive bias, in my opinion. But also Laurier, I did a lot of research on them as a case-based school. I did want to move away from home is one thing I did know. And it's also well renowned for a lot of its courses too. So do your research on the type of school and the courses they deliver. Because upon walking into school, I loved it. Like at no point in my university life have I ever thought, oh, I regret my decision. So coming into it, I knew that my priorities were career first, friends second. But I think in pursuing that, I did realize what I just stated. So like realizing that work-life balance is very important too. But discovering all of that has been like a really great journey and like kind of discovering myself and growing myself in university too. So I hope that answers your question. It was kind of a whirlwind answer, but yes, I do love Laurier.
Yeah. I guess like one other part of the question is like, how was your application process like for applying to the university?
Mhm. So in applying to university, I started off in early application. So I submitted my application in November, which was one of my first applications since I knew I wanted to go there. I did the OUAC application, and then they had a separate supplemental app as available as well. I didn't do the supplemental app actually. I know some people who did, but I think for me, my extracurriculars were enough to kind of like push me through there. They had like smaller, they had questions that where you can answer what your extracurriculars were, and then they had a whole separate supplemental application. So I didn't do the separate one, but I did the necessary answers, and that was enough to get me in for early acceptance. And once I got in, I accepted it. I was on my way. It was great.
Yeah, what are like the benefits of early applications that like you found, and would you recommend it to people?
Yeah, I would certainly recommend it. Once again, like it's been a while since I was in high school, so I don't particularly remember what you need to have ready for early application, but I'm pretty sure your grades are submitted whenever they're ready. So grades weren't really part of the equation. It was mostly just like your mindset and when you wanted to place your application, if I'm correct. Yeah. So for me, I just wanted to get it away, like done with as soon as possible, so I wouldn't have to worry about it later. I did it as soon as there was a long weekend in November. I hit that and I got my application acceptance like not long after. And I would recommend it to most people who know what schools they want to go to, like myself, because it just gets it off your plate. You don't have to worry about it later. And then it's just it's not as daunting as you think it is.
Mm. So can you describe the application process for the co-op program at your university? Like
Yeah.
what was that like?
Yes. So at Laurier, much like other schools in business, you apply at the end of your first year. So you go into university, you live your first year and focus on that, doing extracurriculars that you do, maybe you work part-time. Then at the end of first year, you submit your interest for the co-op program and you submit your application there through a resume and a written application too. And then after they receive that, you do a interview with the co-op program and then you gain your acceptance. And then once you gain acceptance, you are sorted into a sequence. And what that sequence is just whether or not when you start your first work term in after second year, whether or not that's in this or in the winter if you're in CPA, in the CPA streams like accounting stream. Um, and then from your acceptance to the program, then you start a 6-week course that just teaches you the fundamentals of the employment world. So this is creating a resume, cover letter, how to interview, how to hold yourself in the workplace, how to dispute any issues, because inevitably there will be issues during your time, whether it be part-time or when you work full-time in the future. And then once you finish that 6-week course, then you start applying to jobs right before your term starts. So for myself, who started in the summer, I started my application process in January. So once you submit all these applications to jobs, you do your interviews, hopefully you get accepted, and then you start your work term when you do.
How has your co-op program benefited you, and who do you think would benefit from the program?
Yeah, so talking about how it's benefited me first, I think the biggest thing that it provided me was convenience. So the job portal is very easy to use, and these companies are specifically looking for Laurier students. So as a target school, you're also submitting this like application process where your application will be flagged to employers that you are strong applicants. So I think that convenience and like favoritism has been the biggest benefits for me. And obviously the work experience has been really great for me too. I would definitely recommend it to any student in business or in any program. If your school has a co-op program, I definitely encourage you to apply to it because it will bring you these benefits. However, it's not to say that you can't achieve the same success if you don't get into your program. So it is a great thing to have, great convenience to indulge in. But if you're unable to get into your co-op program, I'd say don't stress because you can also always apply to programs outside, like during the summer months, so that you can apply this too. You save that co-op fee, but you just lose out on that convenience because once again, it is very easy to just open up that co-op portal and be applying to different jobs, and these jobs are favorited you as well.
So what are your plans for after university? What are you looking to pursue?
Yeah, so again, I'm looking to pursue marketing. So not too sure exactly what in marketing now, but so for those of you in high school who don't know what you want to do yet, don't worry because I'm reaching graduation and I still don't know. And it's okay because I know that I just like marketing as a function, so I'm going to explore different opportunities in there. In terms of other plans I have post grad, Laurier has a very strong alumni network. So after engaging with so many alumni, I think I'm pretty inclined to be one of those mentors myself. So always coming back to my school, to my case team and clubs to provide my mentorship to younger students is something I definitely plan on doing alongside my career.
Okay, so do you have any final words you would like to give to the viewers of BusiAid?
Yeah, so I'm imagining that most of you guys listening to this are in grade 12. So maybe you're struggling to pick a program, or maybe you did pick a program and you're
So
wondering whether or not this is the right decision for you. I think no matter what, I think it's kind of cheesy, but picking what makes you the most happy is going to be ultimately the best decision that you can make for yourselves. Don't think too much about the prestige of your school or like satisfying your parents, satisfying your friends, being where your friends are. No matter what, if that's what makes you happy, then go towards that. And for those of you who are already in university or already chose your program, maybe if you're regretting it or anything, don't stress too much about it because university is what you make of it. As long as you can pursue things like clubs, extracurriculars, or just a friend group that you can find happiness in, those 4 years will go by just fine. So no matter what you're thinking right now, don't worry, you can make the best of it.
All right. Thank you so much for everything you've shared during this podcast and for your final words. So, thank you so much for coming to this episode of the BusiAid podcast.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everyone, for watching this episode of BusiAid. On our next episode, we'll be featuring a very special guest.
you have to watch it.
So, make sure to watch it. We'll also be having a panel event on January 22nd, featuring a live Q&A panel with university students so you can ask them any questions that you haven't been able to ask them yet. So a lot of prizes, so gift cards to any place of your choice. And we'll be having a financial literacy seminar so you can strengthen those skills also with the prize. So make sure to sign up for that. Link in bio now. All right. Bye, everyone.